Hey everyone, I'm Stacy, the 911 Stitcher. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch and crafting. Today is Thursday, October 27th, 2022. This is video 100. Yay! So normally my videos are always about cross stitching and crafting, such as crochet. Sometimes I talk English paper piecing, sewing, fabric, yarn. I love it all. But it's always about cross stitch, and I show you all my projects that I've been working on that are cross stitch. So video number 100 is going to be a regular YouTube video where I talk about all kinds of things. I show new releases that are coming out, stitch alongs that are going on. Today's video is a special. So watch for next video. 101 will be lots of giveaways. We're going to talk about how the year went. What did I get done in the year? We'll talk about all kinds of stuff next video. So let's talk about samplers. The reason I wanted to have a video just on samplers, just focusing on samplers, is next month, as you know, I participated last November in Black Sampler November. It's one of my favorites. Black is one of my favorite colors. I think all black samplers are so classy and they're so beautiful. Of course, we have lots of colors and we have lots of choices in thread. We have colors, we have silks, we have cottons, we have overdyes, we have DMC and anchor. They're all beautiful. And it doesn't matter what you stitch on. Doesn't matter what size your fabric is. It doesn't matter what kind of thread you use, as long as you use a black thread. Now this video, I'm going to show you some ideas that I have, what I'm going to work on for Black Sampler November, but I'm also going to show you some things I've been working on that are color, and they're all sampler related. So I'll also show you some finishes that came back from Kathy, my finisher. I'll tell you more about her in a few minutes. I have 4 of them that I want to show that are sampler related. A lot of people say, well, I don't have the wall space to frame samplers. You don't have to frame everything. I'm going to show you 4 finishes that I did that are technically samplers. And I chose to go small, and I chose to have them finish into pillows. So I'll show you what those look like in a few minutes. So people have asked me, Black Sampler November, does it have to be a reproduction sampler? No. Jacob was very clear last year. It could be anything. As long as you stitch in black, join everybody. It's fun. I think the hashtag is on Instagram. It's Black Sampler November. I'm almost positive that's what it was. If he's changed it, I haven't heard. But anyway, I posted all my progress both in my stitching group and on Instagram. I am numbers 911 Stitcher on Instagram if you want to follow me. Okay, so first let's just talk about samplers in general. I get a lot of questions asking what does it qualify to be a sampler? What makes it a sampler? I'm not a historian on samplers. There are lots and lots of people out there that are so knowledgeable on samplers. If you Google it even, it will talk to you, it will tell you what is a reproduction sampler. It'll tell you so much information. The list is endless when you Google it. That's what I did years ago because I thought, I wonder the same thing, what makes it a sampler. But what I can tell you is typically samplers have some similarities. They've got usually a border, some kind of a border. Usually there might be alphabet. You might be stitching the alphabet over and over again sometimes just a general alphabet, and once, sometimes it's repetitive. I'm working on Bristol, what is it called? Mary 395. It is a Bristol sampler from Hands Across the Sea. It is loaded with alphabet repeating itself in different font sizes and font styles. I love that sampler. It's one of my favorites, and it's all in red. So it could have a border. It could have some alphabet. Usually they have motifs. There's always some kind of motif throughout the sampler. It could be a scene. It could be something, say, religious. There could be sayings in it. There could be words in it. Sometimes it's got the name of someone. A reproduction sampler has the name of someone that stitched it years and years ago. We'll take the late 1800s, for example. It could have been a little girl in an orphanage that stitched that sampler and has now been reproduced by someone so that we can stitch it. It's pretty awesome. So like I said, it could have someone's name and date on it. It could have a saying, maybe a religious verse. It could have dates on it. So those are the similarities that samplers tend to have. If you look at them and think, this could be a sampler, that's usually generally what you'll see. So let's start with some finishes that I got back. Now, Jacob was very clear. We'll go back to Black Sampler November. Jacob was very clear when you start to think about, okay, well, there are some pretty good samplers out there I'd like to do, but I don't want anything too big. You don't have to stitch anything big. You can stitch something very small. I'll show you one example. I call it a sampler. It's not titled a sampler, but it's one of my favorites. It's also what got me started loving samplers. So Jacob said it could be anything, any fabric, any thread in black. It could be big or small. So one of the very, very first finishes that I had was called Ye Old Crow. And it's by Heart and Hand. Is it Heart and Hand? I'll put it here. I'll put a picture here if I'm wrong. But I think it's Heart and Hand. It is one of my favorites. So back when I first started stitching, I wasn't familiar with samplers, but I wanted to try something with some of the typical sampler looks. Border, alphabet, motif. So I started with Ye Old Crow. This was one of my absolute favorite finishes. It was on 16 count because I wasn't stitching on linen yet, but I still wanted to give it a try. You don't have to stitch on linen. This is a perfect example. You can stitch on Aida. This is 16 count Marshmallow Fudge by Silk Weaver. And it was one of my favorites. So here's your border. It's sort of a border, kind of your border. Here's your alphabet. Here's motifs, some wording. Here's another motif, and it's got a date, and it's got the place that I actually finished it. I happened to be on a road trip, and I was working on it in Montana, and I finished it. So I went ahead and put Montana's initials, and I call this a sampler. Like I said, it's called Ye Old Crow by Heart and Hand. And to me, that's what got me started really being interested in samplers. And I started with something small. I had it finished with just backing fabric. Just some backing fabric. It's got the little dots on the side. I believe that's from Lady Dots, if I'm not mistaken. It's a really cute, pretty little simple finish for a sampler, something that I called a sampler. And like I said, it got me started. Loving big samplers. So I went from this size to massive, and you'll see that in a few minutes. So anyway, that was my very first finish. This is what literally got me loving samplers. I thought it was I love stitching the alphabet. I love the motifs on it, and it was fun. And again, it's on Aida. I loved it. I still love Aida. So anyway, a very cute little finish. Just an example of what got me started loving samplers. Okay, next I'm going to show you another finish. Again, I see a lot of people framing it, and there's nothing wrong with framing it, but a lot of people don't either have the wall space, or sometimes it's expensive to frame. There are other things that can be done to samplers, and Ruth Gibbs is an example. So if I didn't mention, that last finish was done with 310 DMC. Ruth Gibbs, 1882 by Hands Across the Sea. Here's my next finish. This was done as a little pillow. I didn't really want it hanging on my wall because I thought, it's small. I went with 56 count, my very first 56 count project. I thought I'm going to give it a try. Let's see if I like it. It's very small. I needed a magnifier, and I needed reading glasses on top of the magnifier. So this is my little finish. Came back from Kathy. Kathy is Finishing by Kathy on Facebook. You can find her there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do something small. I'm going to give 56 count a try, but I want a small sampler. I don't want to be stitching this giant sampler if I end up not liking 56 count. I loved it. I thought it was just, I love stitching on it. I don't do it often, but I find small projects like this and give a stitch, give a different fabric or a different linen count a try and see if you like it. So 56 count. This was done by the fabric is called Cafe LA, and here's the back. It's so pretty. It's one of my favorites. She put a little button with some twine. It's one of my favorite finishes. I've been wanting to show you guys this for the longest time. I had planned on doing sampler videos a long time ago. So this was done with the thread called Soie Surfing. When I was introduced to 56 count Jean at the Attic, as you guys know, that's her favorite. She convinced me to give it a try. So I said, Jean, cut me a very small piece because if I don't like it, I don't want a whole bunch of fabric that I'm not going to use. So she cut me a small piece. I took it home. I actually started this at the Attic with my friend Bettina. And so what I did, I'll show you up close. This is using one thread of Soie Surfine. Soie Surfine is very, very thin. It is a silk. It's very thin. Well, halfway through my project, I thought, you know what? It's a little too thin, but I kept with it. I continued. As you guys know, I like really thick coverage. I like good coverage. So I'll show you what a project looks like if you fold the thread in half and use 2 threads. So it's on a spool. I don't think I have one handy. Let me see. Maybe. Is this Soie Surfine? Yep, this is Soie Surfine in color 2109. So here's what it looks like. It's a very thin, you pull it off the spool, use 1 thread. And this is what I don't know if this is what I used. I didn't write down what color it was, but so anyway, this is what it looks like with 1 thread. I think it looks great. Great, great. Love this finish. Oh, it's just one of my favorite finishes. But as you can see, it's a sampler. It's got your border, it's got your alphabet, it's got a name and a date, and it does not have to be framed. So I loved it. So let me show you what this looks like doubled, because I decided I want something just a little thicker. I could see the fabric a little bit. So let's see another finish that was done using Soie Surfine doubled. People have asked what kind of needle have I used. I use a 28. It worked fine with this. Now, Jean at the Attic had said to use a size, it's a beading needle, 12 or 10. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that because I don't remember. I had trouble with that needle. I don't know why. It was just a little too bendy for me, I think, and I wasn't crazy about it. So I thought, well, let me try using my size 28 needle, and it worked fine. So that's what I use on 56 count. People have asked me that. What do you use on 56? You can choose either one. Okay, so Soie Surfine, what does it look like doubled? The next finish that I'm going to show you is a free chart. It is from Wendy. She is From the Heart Needle Art. And here's my finish. Now I've shown this before. Kathy added a button, 2 buttons, and a bow. And here's the back. This is a free chart. Again, I wanted to try Soie Surfine 56 count with the thread doubled. I wanted to see what it looked like, and I love the coverage. This will be doubled forever. Now, some people don't want it doubled. You can see the difference. One's a little thinner, and that's okay because this looks great. One's a little thicker. I'm going to show you this up close. And then I'll show you the one using 1 thread of Soie Surfine. So it looks good. This looks great either way. I just prefer a thicker thread. So that's 2 different colors of Soie Surfine, 56 count. And this is also Cafe au Lait, same fabric color as this one. And that's my finish. So cute. Now I could have made this a lot bigger and framed it. I could have easily framed it into a cute little thing, especially for Valentine's Day. Wouldn't that look adorable for Valentine's Day? So this is finish number 2 that I wanted to show you. Again, this chart is free. Thank you to Wendy. It's available on her website, From the Heart Needle Art. Next sampler finish is from the Scarlet House. Now the Scarlet House, I went to summer school last year, so 2021. It says it on my thing. 2021, the summer school. This is available. It's a retreat through the Attic Needlework in Mesa, Arizona. I had a blast. Tanya from the Scarlet House was there, and she gave us the nicest chart. It was summer school, and this is what I had it made into. Again, Kathy finished it. She added, I'm not sure what this, some kind of edging. I think this is adorable. So Summer School 2021, I put my initials and I finished it. And I sent it to Kathy to be fully finished. This is the back. So this sits, when this is not decorated for Halloween, this sits in my tiered tray along with artificial flowers, I've got some potpourri pine cones. Remember to keep those separate away from your needlework. Don't let any potpourri get near your needlework. You don't want any stains or anything. So anyway, this was my finish, turned into a little pillow that sits in a tiered tray, or sometimes it sits in front of it, and it's on display, and I'm so proud of it. I got it done while I was at summer school. Actually, I take that back. I got the majority of it done. I finished it at home. So, very cute, adorable. I do hope to go to summer school this year. We will see. I don't know if that's going to be possible because we're leaving for the United Kingdom. We're going to a retreat hosted by Nicola Parkman in September. So, anyway, finish number 3. Very, very pretty fabric that she chose for it too. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the last finish that I did. It was a sampler. It's by Hands Across the Sea. Again, I didn't want to frame it. I wanted it turned into a little pillow. So this is Jane Elizabeth Milner, 1876, by Hands Across the Sea. And this, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have the booklet in front of me. This was part of Rose Ada Featherstone. It came as like a 2-part sampler. And I decided to do the small one. It's adorable. It's just, I love how she finished it. I think the colors match perfectly. She put some, I'll show it up close. It's like, I don't know if you call it rickrack or edging, but these are little circles, like kind of like a swirly circle. It's kind of raised a little bit. And I just think that the finishing is beautiful. It's perfect. And again, this sits in my tiered tray. So when I want to change out the look, I can change this out and put this in there. So this is called Jane Elizabeth Milner, Hands Across the Sea. I stitched it on 32 count Tobias by Seraphim Fabrics. Very pretty. And I just used DMC, the called for DMCs. So again, this sits on my little display area back there. I can put it in my tiered tray, which is here. It's just fun. Another sampler that I decided not to frame and make into a little pillow. Love that. I love that we have so many choices of what we can do. Okay, let's see what have I been working on. Now we haven't got to what I'm going to work on for Black Sampler November yet. I'll show that at the end. I also have some giveaways sent in by some viewers. Kathy the Finisher sent in a couple charts, and they're all samplers, so stay tuned. Works in progress, whips. What have I been working on? You guys have seen this on Instagram, and it is fun. It is just such a blast. Let me put it on my board real quick. This is Little Schoolhouse Pin Keep, 1862, and it's by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. This is what it looks like. This was a very, very popular chart for Expo that was in August. Here's the name, Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. I think that's just beautiful. And it's a schoolhouse. So here's the name. And I love that dark fabric. I wanted to go dark too. So I went with 40 count Hemingway by Needle and Flax. Hemingway is one of my favorites. I ordered a yard of it through Needle and Flax. And she did tell us it's going to take you a long, long time. Could take months and months for the fabric to get to you. I'm okay with that. I don't mind waiting. So I ordered a whole yard of it. I know you can get it from Hobby House, Kitten Stitcher, Colorado Cross Stitcher, I think, but it's a beautiful mottled color. I am using Leo and Roxy thread. It's called Faloo Red. Let me show it up close. And it's so pretty. I'm using 1 strand on 40 count. Oh gosh, that fabric is just so perfect. I think it's just beautiful. So you can see I'm getting really close to that schoolhouse. I've got the flower patch. I've got a few little tiny motifs on top. I'll show it up close. The bird, I've got 1, 2, 3, the numbers, 2 flower pots till I get to the school. And, but how beautiful, isn't that pretty? So that's one thing I've been working on. Okay, this one is funny because it's so huge. This is Quaker's Pride by Historische Stickmuster. They are a German company. I'm using DMC and Anchor 403. The fabric is hazy gray. Let me show you a picture of it first so you know what it looks like. It's so big that I can't really get it in the camera unless I show a picture. So here's what it looks like, and here's my progress. Now the white, I'm going to show it up close because it looks like there's some patches missing. There's not. It actually shows up really, really well. Okay, there you can see the white motif. In person, it shows up a lot better. Okay, see, we'll start from the edge. See the white? It's much better in person. So I'm gonna move it real slow so you can see the progress. This is 32 count. I should have went higher in count to make it a little smaller. This is 32 count hazy gray by Fabric Flare. Isn't that just pretty on this fabric? The fabric is just perfect modeling, perfect. I love it. It's gray and splotches, and it's so pretty, and it's not too much. So again, in person, that white shows a lot better. It is a color and cotton pearl white, I think. Let me show that up close. And so this one's hard to show the whole thing because it's so big. It's huge. There we go. So now you know there's white motifs there. So this is fun. I've got a lot more work, but each little motif that gets finished it feels like a finish, and it's just so fun. It's so pretty. I am really enjoying that. I was looking to see if I could see what the red was. The red, I think, is DMC 815, Anchor 403 black, gray is 414, so 414 DMC, and I am using color and cotton pearl white. So pretty. And again, that's by Historische Stickmuster. Next, Amelia Boyce. This one has given me some problems. You guys remember, first of all, I had trouble with the thread. The called for thread did not look like the cover. To me, it didn't. What I received didn't look like the cover. And that's why I chose it. The colors are so pretty. I'm gonna put it up close because can you see that really light baby blue? The glare, this is a real shiny photo. There's no plastic on here. It's just a very shiny photo. So you can see, without it being too blurry, the colors of the baby blue down here, you can see it best down here, are really pretty. But when I got the colors in person, they weren't that pretty. So anyway, that church is one of the reasons why that beautiful cathedral, I believe it's a cathedral, so pretty. I was so fascinated with this chart that I wanted to start it because of the baby blue that was in it. I ended up starting it, didn't like the colors. Finally, I liked the colors. I changed a couple of them out. I talked to Jean at the Attic, got a couple of them changed out, and then I started stitching. So I'm stitching along, everything's going great, and I realized I oriented the fabric wrong. I don't ever do that because I measure to death. I always make sure when I start that it's lengthwise. You can see in this picture, it needs to be lengthwise. The sampler is longer than it is widthwise. So what did I do? Started the fabric this way. Oh my God. I'm like, this sampler is not meant to be. And I thought, oh, heck yeah, I'm stitching it. So I have started it. I started up here in the left-hand corner. It's a little blurry. The picture is I think it's just the glare that makes it a little blurry. So I started up in here, and the colors still are weird to me. Now these are mostly the called for. I think once I get more progress, it's all gonna come together. I think it will. But the blues are very pretty. I have not hit that light baby blue yet. So this is a very pretty sampler. I like it, and I'm gonna continue on it. I think the colors, like I find this red odd. Like I don't know why, but as I'm stitching, I'm like, this red is like so odd, but that's the called for color. So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going with this. We are gonna get there, and hopefully all the colors will come together and be just really, really pretty. This is such a shiny photograph that it's just really hard to show you. If I can find one to insert, I will, but it's just kind of shiny. So I'm using Old Town Blend by R&R Soie d'Alger silks. Interesting. We'll see how these colors come together. And what I also thought was interesting are these leaves are 3 different colors, totally different colors. I don't know if they're showing up that well, but yeah, very different, but I'll just keep on going and it'll come together. Okay, next, Jessie Watson by Hands Across the Sea. Jessie Watson is the year 1816 by Hands Across the Sea. Let me see, do I have a picture of this? Oh yeah, I do. This is from my printer, so it doesn't come out like super colorful, but it's you get the idea. This is what it looks like. And I started it on Valentine's Day because of that big heart. I thought that was really pretty. So that's my, that's the chart photo. I might insert a picture here so you get a better picture of the colors and how pretty they are. This is on 45 count fox, what is it called? Foxtail millet. I got it through Hoop and Frame, I think. And this is my progress. 45 count. I am using 103 silks. It's my first time using 103 silks. They come on a spool, just like the Swasserfine that I just showed. They look really similar. So 103 silks, it's really pretty. I'm gonna show it up close since the colors are kind of faded. Hopefully you get a good idea, but it's really a pretty sampler. My video's been really washed out lately, so I have one of the lights turned down. Hopefully the colors still come out, you know, really pretty. So this is fun, and I need to keep working on this. I plan to. And that's Jessie Watson 1816 by Hands Across the Sea. Okay, next, I went to church sampler. This sampler is so funny. So I love Brenda Keyes, the sampler company. I have pretty close to all of her charts. If you can believe that, I have a lot of her charts. And my goal is to live long enough to stitch them all because they are so beautiful. I mean, just beautiful. This is one I had a little trouble with the colors. I didn't care much for the border colors. So this is called, I Went to Church Sampler. And this, my friend Becca, she has a floss tube called My Stitchy Home. Her and I are stitching this together, so it's a stitch along. Here's what it looks like. Oh, this glare today, terrible. Here's what it looks like. So the border color wasn't that pretty. So I talked to my friend Jean. She's really good with color, and she switched it up for me. And the story is, on the front of the sampler, the story says, I went to church on Sunday. My love, she passed me by. I knew her mind was changing by the roving of her eye. So obviously this girl is checking out some other guy. So me and Becca have called it the roving eye Sal. Sal meaning stitch along. So her and I are doing it together. The roving eye stitch along. So here's what it looks like again. Couple color changes, but I think it's coming out really pretty. And I feel sorry for this guy. He obviously loves this woman who's just checking out other people. Here's my progress. Gosh, I hope these colors are coming out. The lighting's a little better over here. So that's my progress so far. It's pretty. I think there's more of this blue coming out in the sampler, so it'll make more sense as to why that's blue. It's like a baby blue. Just a really pretty design. And I'm gonna start working more on it. I did turn the corner this weekend, so I'm working down the sampler now. And once I get more motifs in it, it's gonna look even prettier. So Hopefully the lighting's okay. You can see the colors. They look a little faded to me in this picture, but you get the idea. It's something I'm going to keep working on. And I do love Brenda Keys. Just beautiful. So anyway, more to come on this one. Okay, that's another one that I'm going to be working on. Okay, next, here's one that I just don't work on. And I think it's because of the color changes. There are a lot of color changes in this sampler. I am using Soie d'Alger Silks. It is 32 count ale. It is beautiful. So here's the picture. Ann Thomas, 1854 by Hands Across the Sea. This is absolutely a gorgeous sampler. I have seen people just stitch the middle and it's beautiful. Oh, it's just, wait till you see it. You'll see it's just so pretty. So dark fabric, I chose a dark fabric, and here is my progress. So 32 count ale, Soie d'Alger Silks, and here's my progress. Okay, look at that. It is just gorgeous. Why don't I work on this? This is over 1. The wording is over 1. That doesn't bother me. What does bother me, I think, are the color changes. There are a lot of color changes. So, but look at what it's coming out to look like because of those color changes. It's gorgeous. The blues are so pretty. I'll show it over here so you can see the lighting is better on this side of the camera. That's my progress. I still want to keep working on it. This is just gorgeous. Ann Thomas, 1854 by Hands Across the Sea, and I started up in here. So beautiful. Okay, those are the things I've been working on. It's hot in here. Geez, I feel like I'm all hot. Okay, Black Sampler November. What do I want to work on? I've got a list. I've got, let's see, 5 of them, 6 of them. Let's start with Spirits of the Dead. Now, technically, I don't know if you can call this a sampler. Let me show you a picture of it. I am stitching it all in black. It's Anchor 403 on the skein, black in color. And here's my progress. It's again on hazy gray. It's such a beautiful, beautiful lighting. So much better right here. It's beautiful fabric. Slightly modeled so you can see a good look at it there without being too much. So Spirits of the Dead is by Modern Folk Embroidery. I am using, I think this is 32 count. And again, 403 anchor thread. And that's my progress. So I want to put some more stitches in this. Black thread, like I said, I don't know if I would call it a sampler, but maybe, I guess. And why not? So pretty. Okay, did I include a picture of it? Let me put it, if I didn't, let me put the picture here real quick. Okay, the next one that I'm working on is called Anne McFarlane. Now this is the one that I think is spooky. It's not meant to be spooky, but when I look at this picture, it's just, I always think to myself, are there people looking out those windows? I love this sampler. It's called for color is a very dark blue. I'm doing it all in black. This is by The Wishing Thorn. She has her own website, I believe, The Wishing Thorn, and it's Anne McFarlane, 1827. So anyway, that's what it's gonna look like. I'm working up in here. You'll see the house and you'll see the start of these trees and the very tip top of the house right here. When you see my sampler, it's not going to look like trees, but they will eventually. So anyway, that's my, this is the name of the chart. And here's my progress. I am using 40 count marbled pointer. I'm also using black sulky thread. So this is a beautiful fabric. You can see the modeling in it. It's not extreme, so it doesn't take away from the sampler. It's got like veins in it. And it's just so pretty. The fabric is called Marbled Pointer 40 count. It's by XJude Designs. So here's my progress. I am using thread-wise, I'm using Sulky thread, 12 weight. A lot of people don't like it on 40, but I do. I think the coverage is beautiful. I think the dark black is really pretty. So that's my progress. And I'm gonna work on this a little bit more too for Black Sampler November. Next, okay, do I call this a ditch? Maybe. Would I call it a finish? Maybe. Let me explain. Anne Grimshaw 1818. She is gorgeous. Let me pull her out. This one I'm using Splendor Silk thread. I happen to have one right here, so I'll show you what Splendor looks like. I like it. I think it's really pretty. It is by Rainbow Gallery, Splendor Silk, black. Okay, so here's Anne Grimshaw. She is a monster of a sampler. She's fantastic, gorgeous. I started her a year ago at least, maybe longer. So, she's gorgeous. And I started in the top left corner. So what's wrong with this sampler? Why am I having such trouble with it? It's the fabric I chose. One, I chose 32 count, which means she is going to be as big. She's going to be a wall tapestry. She's going to be huge. I don't like the color of the fabric. I want a scrunchy antique looking fabric. I chose, let me look real quick. I chose 32 count taupe. I like to stitch on it, but it's not anything I have visioned for. Like you can see, this fabric here kind of looks a little crusty. It looks older, you know, and that's what I wanted for this sampler. I wanted it to be a little bit crusty looking or tea dyed, coffee dyed, something. This is just just 32 count Lugana taupe. And I got some good progress. So what I'm thinking of doing is, instead of ditching the whole thing because I've got good progress, I definitely don't want to continue on this fabric. I have hemmed and hawed, is that the word? I have hemmed and hawed about this for so long that I don't work on it because I don't like the fabric. So here's my plan. I'm going to finish this motif right here, maybe add something right here, a letter, so it's more rectangle, and call it a day. I'm gonna have it finished into a little mini pillow, and that way I still have my progress saved and turned into something, and I'm gonna start over. I just don't like this fabric. It's just so boring. And if I don't like something, then you don't work on it. So that's why the progress has just been kind of non-existent. But the Splendor Silk is pretty cool. I think I may have got it off 1, 2, 3 stitch. I can't remember. Okay, Long Dog Sampler. That's another sampler I plan on working on. I am working in 310 DMC. Here's a picture of what it's gonna look like. It's so pretty. This is the Australia, New Zealand sampler, and it's fantastic. This one I love. I love working on it. It is on 32 count Dusty Rose by Seraphim Fabrics. And here's my progress. Isn't that something else? I mean, as you work on it, you actually really don't see everything coming out until it's finished. I still have some back stitching to do, which does not show on Pattern Keeper. I have loaded a PDF into Pattern Keeper. I love it. I love how it shows your progress. I love how it shows your percentage, how much of this is done. So anyway, as I work on it though, and then when I pull it back and I look at it, then I can see the animals that are popping out as I work on it. So I'm going to show it up close so you can see the detail. Lizards, koalas, you've got boxing kangaroos, flamingos, iguanas, just all kinds of really cool things. And it's just so fun. The whale, the crocodile, it's just fantastic. So I'd like to keep working on this. It's all black thread. It is 310. And again, this is 32 count Dusty Rose. by Seraphim. Just really pretty. Okay, a couple more. Birds from Bernhard's Books. This is a PDF that I have loaded in Pattern Keeper. I'll show a picture of it here. It is on 46 count peanut brittle by Leo and Roxy. And it's 310 DMC. So not much progress, but isn't that fabric amazing? Oh, this fabric. I think I have a whole yard of it now. It's gorgeous. Leo and Roxy is a Canadian company. They're fantastic. Located on Evertotes.ca. Evertotes is awesome. So I am starting, I'll show you the picture of it here again. So you can see I'm starting that big floral motif. And I'm working my way down, and then I'll keep doing more of the border as well. And again, this is with 310 DMC, 46 count. So progress is slow, not because of the fabric, but just because there's a lot of stitches. Okay, last but not least, we have Owl Forest. This is called Groningen. It is a Dutch sampler, I believe. Oh, I got an itch on my nose. Owl Forest. Let me see if I have a whole picture of it. I think I do. This is using Sulky thread. Again, it is 12 weight Sulky. This is on 40 count buttercream. Here's what it looks like all together. And it's so pretty. It's by Owl Forest Embroidery. And now this is in, this doesn't show the name, but it is called Groningen on their website. Well, actually, I don't think you can order it from their website. I think there's an Etsy shop that's selling PDFs of their chart. It is in blue. Most of the times you can see this in blue. I switched it to black. So this will be almost a finish. I'm about halfway done. It's beautiful, and I love the buttercream. It's just Newcastle, 40 count Newcastle buttercream, probably from 123 Stitch. So here's my progress. I tell you, these grapes have a lot of stitching in them, but look at how pretty they are. I just love them. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully I can get this done soon. This might just be my next finish. If I can really, if I get working on it, it moves pretty fast. So anyway, very, very pretty. I like the 12 weight Sulky, S-U-L-K-Y. They have their own website. I think you can get them off Amazon as well. And there might be other people that sell Sulky, but I love it. I think it's really pretty. Took some getting used to it first, but it's one of my favorite threads. Okay, let's talk about giveaways. Now I'm supposed to leave on a trip soon, so I'm going to be gone a couple weeks, so don't expect your, you probably won't see a video come up for about 3 weeks, maybe 4. So if I disappear, don't be surprised. Your giveaways are still going to be given out. So I have had some really great giveaways donated by viewers who either decide they bought 2 of them, like I always do. I now keep my charts in a little app. What is the app called? I'll put it here. It's an app on I have an Apple phone, an iPhone, and it's fantastic. I put all my charts in it so that way I don't buy things twice. Some of these have come from, one of them is from me. The rest of them are from people who donated their charts so that other people can stitch them. I believe they're all brand new. So if you're interested in the charts, you have to be 18 and a subscriber. I need to ask your address. That's why you have to be the age of 18. And please just put in for the chart if you think you might. Hold on just a second. Yeah, okay. Anyway, a message just came in. Please put in for the giveaway if you're going to stitch them. If you're going to resell them, that's not fun. You're taking it away from someone who would really like to stitch it. So only put in for these giveaways if you are interested in stitching them. So giveaway number 1, Mrs. Campbell, 1805 by Hands Across the Sea. If you're interested in stitching this, just put I'm interested in the Mrs. Campbell, and here's the name. And just put I'm interested in the Mrs. Campbell chart. And you're more than welcome to put in for more than one. Only one winner will be picked for each one. So that's really pretty. I hope you guys can see it. The lighting in here is weird sometimes. I'm filming in the afternoon, which the lighting sometimes isn't that great. So Mrs. Campbell, Campbell is spelled C-A-M-P with a P, B-E-L-L, by Hands Across the Sea. That's giveaway number 1. Number 2 is Christian Henry, 1816, by Sassafras Samplers. Oh boy, I don't want to take this out because it's a brand new chart. So let's see if you guys can get an idea. They're a little better. I'll show it in pieces so that way the glare on this, like I said, I hate to take it out. It's completely sealed and this will be someone's chart. Let's see if I show it. Well, poo. Okay, Christian Henry, here's the name. So just say I'm interested in the Christian Henry chart. And the name of the company, Sassafras Samplers. So I wish you could see it a little better. Let me show it again in parts. A lot of alphabet at the top. Lots and lots of alphabet, it looks like. Let's see. Oh, lots of alphabet. Then you've got a saying. Okay, there's the saying. More alphabet. And then you've got this house with some really pretty motifs down below. So if you're interested in this, this is giveaway number 2. And it's called Christian Henry. Tell me if you want this one. Okay, next. How Now, Brown Cow, BW 1831, Hands Across the Sea Samplers. Again, this is a brand new chart. It's in cellophane. So again, I don't want to take it out. Oh, better, much better. Okay, take a look. There's a border, a house, a gorgeous house, lots and lots of grass. But isn't that pretty? So tell me you're interested in the cow sampler and I'll know which one you're talking about. How Now, Brown Cow by Hands Across the Sea. Really pretty. Let me see if I can, did I try turning it that? Okay. That's a little better from the one I just showed before. It's kind of at a sideways look, but at least you can see it without so much glare. Okay, so Christian Henry, How Now, Brown Cow. Next we have the Victoria Sampler. I think someone stitched this, but I do not see any marks at all. It looks brand new. This is the Heirloom Nativity Sampler, number 9 in the Heirloom series, the Victoria Sampler. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna show it up close so you can see the detail. I have a feeling there are specialty stitches, but seriously, this is so gorgeous. I'm trying to show you real slow so you can get an idea of, there are definitely specialty stitches in that. That is beautiful. I love the Joseph and Mary. I think that's so pretty. So if you're interested in this, this is the Nativity one. Say, I'm interested in the Nativity Sampler. One more look up close. And then we'll go on to the next giveaway. But I want you to get a good idea of what this looks like. You know, you don't even have to do this all together. You could just do this as an individual piece right here, right here. Break it up. You don't have to do the entire long thing. You could even make a little pillow with this motif right here, or with that picture. Gosh, that's so beautiful. So if you're interested in this, this is the Nativity Sampler. Okay, this is one I bought twice. It is a brand new chart and I'm stitching it. I just didn't show it today. G. Leger, 1898. Isn't that beautiful? This is by Reflet de Soie. It's gorgeous. I'm doing it on darker fabric. Stay tuned. I want to say I showed it 2 videos ago, maybe. It's so pretty. If you're interested in this, just put G. Leger, L-E-G-E-R, that you're interested in G. Leger. So pretty. Okay, last but not least, we have Anne Ogden, 1843 by Hands Across the Sea. I'm going to show it this way because we know now with the glare, we can see it better. Look at the pink and the blues in this, and that border is all pink. Let's see if I can show it up close. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. Here's the top. So if you're interested in this one, put in Ann, A-N-N, Ogden, and I'll search by those names. Okay, so if you want any of those giveaways, you're more than welcome to enter for more than one. And that's it for today, you guys. I'm glad you joined me. I will see you in 3 weeks to a month when I get back from vacation. And we're going to have a good time. We're hoping we can still go. Max isn't feeling good today. So once he's actually at the vet right now. So hopefully I think he's fine. He wants to play. He's a very picky eater. So we're hoping to still leave. My nephew is arriving this weekend. He's going to stay here for the time that we're gone, and he's excited. So we're all set. We're all ready to go. So anyway, put in for the giveaways. You're more than welcome. Again, be 18, be a subscriber, and you're going to just put it in the comments down below in this video. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I am numbers911stitcher on Instagram. I also have a hashtag 911stitcher so I can see what you're working on. And so I will see you in 3 weeks to a month with a regular YouTube video, and I will announce all the giveaways on that video. Thanks everybody for joining me. Have fun stitching. Happy Black Sampler November. I'll talk to you next time. Bye everybody.